My people, what a week we have had and what a week we have ahead of us. This video is jam-packed. You need to watch it from beginning till the end. We will talk about the manipulations that are going on behind the scenes. We have uncovered it and we have actually traded with it. We will show you live on this video what's going on behind the scenes with market makers and whales battling each other. We have OKX that just now got hacked by the Lazarus group. That's the Bybit hackers that hacked Bybit for $1.5 billion and sent the crypto industry tanking. The question is this the black swan event that will trigger a massive sell-off? We got mega US and EU recession looming, and we need to break this down because this is going to affect you and you and you and each and every one of us, rich or poor, in big ways. And during recessions, it's not the rich that get richer, it's the informed that get richer and the poor gets poorer. So we want to stay on the informed side, right? And then on Wednesday, it's that big day. Jerome Powell speaks again. We have the federal fund rates decision and we have the FOMC meeting. So you don't want to miss a single thing in this video. I will disclose the whole game plan that we will have this week during these ups and downs and how we will trade that FOMC meeting with Jerome Powell, how we will capitalize that in the best possible way, which we, by the way, will be streaming live. So stay tuned and let's jump into it. All right, so first and foremost, we have the fear and greed index that stands at about 22 on CoinMarketCap. That's just slightly above extreme fear that we had last week. So in other ways, the sentiment is very bearish, and we can see that also here on the hyperdash, where we see that the majority is shorting right now. And you can see here also that most of these pairs are being shorted. Now let's get into the breaking news. So just a couple of minutes ago, we posted here on the Telegram channel that the Lazarus group, so the hackers that took $1.5 billion from Bybit on the Bybit hack that sent the crypto industry tanking, they are right now attacking an OKX DEX aggregator. So something is going on there. They're trying to get in on OKX. It seems like they are specialized on targeting exchanges. So the question is now, of course, if they manage to succeed with this, what will this mean for the crypto industry? Now we will get into that in a couple of minutes. I got to build a case for you first. Because in the same time as we see that, we see an insider trading shorting BTC for over $400 million. Now, let me break this down a little bit for you. This guy, we call him the insider trader. Why? Because he was the one that longed and shorted BTC on Trump announcements. All right. And he did it with such a hard leverage. We're talking about 40 to 50x in leverage. And we're talking about a couple of $100 million that he puts in on these orders. So he knows something that we don't know. This is why we call him an insider trader. Like basically, how did he know the Trump pump was going to happen when Trump announced the strategic Bitcoin reserve? That thing was already priced in. Market shouldn't have pumped that way on that, but he knew it would. So hence he went long with 50x. I think it was $120 or $150 million. Now he's shorting it for $430 in total. You can see it here. He's $2.2 million in profit. But the funny thing is he almost got liquidated. Yesterday, Sunday, we were watching live when market makers were hunting him and trying to liquidate him. What happened was he had a position of about $360 million in short, and market started to tank. It was here somewhere, and I shorted the market with him. As you can see here in the Telegram channel, I took a little profit on it as well on BitNix. So I was expecting market to go much lower because his take profit is at about $68,000 for one BTC. Now it doesn't have to go that low, but if he has the take profit there, then I'm expecting market to dump much lower. But then what happened? Market makers stepped in and boom, within 1 minute, we had this thing here forming. 1-2 minutes, this mega liquidation happens. And what does the insider trader do? He adds positions. So he adds more US dollars to his position. So he was at $360,000 short. He added about 75 million or something like that. And he came up all the way to $430 million in short. He even started to short Ethereum, but took a small profit there quickly, while this BTC short is still live. As you can see here, this thing is still ongoing. And as you can see, he has gone long on Hype and Melania. So the drama unfolds and we decided to short the market with him. I called out this short this morning and I'm doing it not because of him. I'm using him as a confirmation, of course, but I'm doing it because we have hit previous support, this gray zone that you see, and flipped it to resistance. And this is a strong zone that you see market has tried to break above. And yesterday during this attempt to liquidate that short trader, that insider trader, market tried to break above again and it didn't succeed. So right now what I'm seeing is on the weekly time frame that market started today, this week, bullish without even a wick down. And I see that as the first liquidation sweep before we start heading a little bit to the downside. And my take profit on this trade is at 67K. It doesn't have to hit 67K. Why 67K? Because we have a major order block that people are missing just there. And another thing is that everybody thinks that we're going to 70 to 74K for one BTC. The market never does what you expect. So I'm expecting the market either to liquidate that zone completely, at least down to 67K, or the opposite. It will turn before. Maybe the 76K drop that we had previous week is the bottom and we will push up from here. We don't know. But just looking at this market structure, these lower lows and lower highs, and just looking at all the liquidity that is stacked up down here, looking at market conditions, what's going on, and that we got insider traders shorting the market so heavily, that makes me really think that we are going lower. Another funny thing that I've noticed is that there's more bearish news that are starting to drop. Like here, for example, South Korea just announced that they will not have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, not for now at least, because of the volatility with BTC. And then we got 21 shares to shut down Bitcoin and Ethereum futures ETF. Now this is quite big. So they will start liquidation at the 28th of March. This is, of course, a lot of sell pressure on the market and it should send market down. But what I believe is going to happen is that this is going to be priced in already. So with bearish news coming out, it feels for me like they are trying to get that last shakeout in the market. But when we start to see a lot of bearish news coming out and the market does not react to the downside, that is when we know the bottom is near and it's time to stack up positions. It's time to DCA. Actually, it's already time to DCA. You want to utilize these dips and build your portfolio so that later on when everything pumps, you are set. You're on the sideline watching your portfolio do the job for you. So a successful bull market starts in the bear market. And right now we are having a temporary short-term bear market. But on the bigger scale, if we zoom out on everything, we are of course heavily in a bull market. The uptrend is very clear. But if we zoom in, of course, here right now we have a short-term bear market. So this temporary bear market that we have right now is what we got to take into consideration, and this is what we're shorting the market. But then again, also, we are taking profit along the way all the time. And I'm actually closing 50% of this trade already at 81.3K and letting the rest run. And it's because the market is so volatile, so you can easily just bounce up from this order block that I've marked out here and just start pushing. Now, on Wednesday, we have the federal funds rate, and then we have the major thing. And that's the FOMC meeting where Jerome Powell opens his mouth and the market starts running or dumping or doing backflips or whatever it does. But something is going to happen in the market, and here's the game plan. Here's what I think. So what has happened up until now is that we have seen bad news tanking the market. Good news has not affected the market very well. So it's been obvious that elites, whales, market makers, whatever it is, are dumping off their positions. So every time there's some good news, they dump off their positions, and therefore they are keeping the price suppressed until market dumps to a lower price, and then they can accumulate again. And hence why I said that we're waiting for that situation when we start to see bad news, but market barely reacts on it. It's the sellers are exhausted, and now the buyers starting to take over. You got to recognize the signs. So what we want to see right now, right here, is that the market is tanking up until the FOMC meeting. I would love if this whole trade plays out before the FOMC meeting, not just because I want to take profits. Of course, I want to take this here would be awesome. But it's because I just want to see the market tank and liquidate before the FOMC meeting. That would mean that an eventual dovish tone from Jerome Powell on the FOMC meeting is not priced in. So he says that they are happy with inflation, that the CPI readings and trueflation is good, that they are happy with where it's going. It means he's hinting a rate cut on the next federal fund rate decision. And that, of course, market takes it as they're doing a rate cut right now, and it will send the market flying, because we're not expecting a rate cut this time. If that happens, I'm just saying it to you, if it happens, market is going to fly like crazy. But I'm not expecting it. The whole market is not expecting it. I think we have about 98% expecting the interest rates to stay the same. Yeah, as you can see, 99% even. But considering how the CPI numbers came out good, so CPI inflation down, PPI down, trueflation, as we can see here, down. And in the same time, 2 weeks ago on Friday on a press conference, Jerome Powell was hinting, giving those signals, those signs that they are starting to get more happy with where the inflation is. And when I say they, I mean the Federal Reserve. So with that said, I'm expecting a dovish tone. I'm almost certain that there will be a dovish tone on inflation, and that will be very bullish for crypto. But the important thing is what happens before that. Is market tanking? Is it going sideways? Is it pumping before the FOMC meeting? That will determine a lot about how the FOMC meeting will affect crypto at that moment. Now, that could trigger a bull rally that will send crypto flying, that will send altcoins flying. If there's any smell of a QE coming in, quantitative easing, because we are at a quantitative tightening period right now. If Jerome Powell talks anything about quantitative easing, rest assured that we will see a bull market explode. And you will see an altcoin rally that you have never seen before, because there's so much money on the sidelines right now that is ready to be pushed into crypto. It's just a trigger that is waiting, and the supply is diminishing while the demand is exploding on especially Bitcoin. So once that race starts, rest assured that Bitcoin is going to explode in price. Ethereum is going to come also, because no matter what we say about Ethereum, the price is heavily suppressed and the elites are stacking it, and they're stacking it for a reason. But once we get that blow off top, once we get this bull rally, you will want to DCA out. And I will signal the signals that I see in the market when it's time to start DCAing out, when it's time to start selling off your bags and cashing in those profits. Because I think this bull run is going to be quick and swift. We see the global money supply increasing. We see everything is set up for this bull run to explode right now. But we also see something else, and that's the next thing I'm going to talk about, and that is that there's a mega recession looming. It's been so for a while. It's been so since 2008, since we had the Great Depression or the Great Financial Crisis during 2008, when the real estate market in the US just imploded, and it affected the whole world. Basically, the whole Western world markets imploded. But we recovered very fast, didn't we? Yeah, of course. We printed trillions and trillions of dollars and euros into the system. Yeah, of course, that is an artificial stimulus that creates a bubble, but on the surface of that bubble, everything looks good. The economy is booming, stock markets are flying. But the reality is that there's a mega inflation bubble under it. Money is being diluted. And sooner or later, that thing is going to burst. And that is what the elites know. They know that sooner or later, this thing is going to burst. And it looks like it can burst anytime now. You see already that the S&P 500 is down about 10%, and it's the same all across the board. We can see that these elites like Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Nancy Pelosi, Jamie Dimon, Mark Zuckerberg, all of these are dumping their own shares, their own stocks and other stocks as well. And then you see, for example, in the US, the consumer expectations about job markets dropped to the lowest since the Great Financial Crisis. It's the same in Europe. It's even worse in Europe. Also China, also Japan. So there is a lot pointing at that this crisis will happen very, very soon. And with this trade wars that Trump has triggered with his tariffs, which I think is on purpose. He's trying to tank the market on purpose to kill the inflation so that he can get this US 10-year bond yield down, so that he can refinance those 7 or 9 billions that the US government needs to pay in about 6-7 months, so that they can refinance to a much lower price, of course, and force Jerome Powell to start QE, quantitative easing. But before that, market needs to tank hard. So back to this game plan and strategy. What I think will happen is that the market, the crypto market, will be soaring, will be flying for short term. First, a dip, like I said, about 67, 68, 69K. We'll see maybe down to 50K. Then if everything plays out well with the FOMC meeting, we could see it flying all the way up to about $130,000 or $140,000 for one BTC, which will of course send altcoins to astronomical levels. And then from nowhere, there will be some form of black swan event that would trigger this massive recession and everything will come down tanking. But here's the good news. While everything tanks, I think crypto is going to bounce back much faster and much harder than anything else. This is the time when the real crypto adoption will start. People will come to realize that crypto is the safest way to go. You cannot trust these stock, financial, fiat markets that literally is a Ponzi scheme built up, artificially propped up. Yeah, crypto is also heavily manipulated, but it's decentralized. Everything is transparent. If it gets regulated, then it can finally get some form of stability. Right now it's an unregulated market. So yeah, of course, it's going to be some weird shit going on there. And no matter what, a crash or not a crash, I don't think that we will ever see BTC below 50K again. There's just too much demand for BTC right now. If it would go that low, there are nations, governments, institutions that will jump all over it, buying it directly. So that's one. So when everything starts to tank, when we see that crash incoming, I will actually consider moving my funds from the altcoins to BTC instead of USDT, because BTC is more and more becoming that hedge against inflation. And you will see that happening now. I think this whole game will play out now during this recession right now, and we will see some crazy stuff happen. Guys, with all of this said, don't forget to tune into our Telegram channel. It's all free, where we send out our market insights and trade ideas, trade signals, everything, comments on what's going on. We live stream the markets when we're trading it, when we're analyzing it. And I would highly appreciate it if you supported this channel by liking and subscribing to this channel. And if you want to be on the live trading sessions that we do on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and sometime other pop-up sessions, make sure you have the notification bells on so you don't miss any single one of those. That is when the money is being made. That's when the real shit happens. With all of that said, my name is Jeremy Tekle from the Prosperous World. Thank you for watching, and until I see you again, peace.